Alrighty, so let's talk about the 9 books, yes, that I read in August. So it looks like I started with The Floating World. So it looks like it looks like I started the month off with a lot of YA, and so this was the first one, which this is a very nice addition from Prelude, but this was kind of a letdown for me. So, like, I've read another book by this author and I was very into it, and this just kind of didn't hit the same for me. So, like, this one, we have a girl that she's like in a trope, and she kind of has like a secret identity, and it causes problems for her, and so she's being hunted to be made an example of because she has like power she's not supposed to have, basically. And so it turns into this whole thing of like basically she's being hunted like the whole book, and like it's it just like I didn't feel that sense of urgency in this book. Like I didn't feel that them trying to get away from stuff that was happening was like that serious, especially because she's like doing flips and stuff because she's within a trope. So it kind of felt like a joke at points but it really should have been like more serious, I guess. Like it just didn't grip me in the way I was hoping it was gonna grip me. Like the boy's backstory, sad. That part was super sad, and I did feel for him. But for the girl, I'm just kind of like she's just very aloof, I guess, and so that just it made it hard to like. I mean, yes, I still felt bad for her in parts of like when stuff happens to her family and her friends and stuff, but I don't know, like she just didn't seem like she cared that much, and so I was like, well, then why the fuck do I need to care? That was kind of the vibe. So like, it's not a terrible book, but like, I don't know, it just didn't vibe with me personally. So, if you like it, go for it, I guess. But I personally did not feel like sucked in enough to continue this series. So this one I gave just a 3 star. Like it's fine, but it's nothing to write home about. So anyways, that's that one. That was the first one. And that one is listed for sale on my Pango, if you are interested in picking that copy up. Let's see. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight was the next book. And this one I like blew through pretty fast because it's a really short book. This was a horror story about some kids that were working at a like reenactment type cabin with like cabins in the woods of like a slasher film. So they basically reenact this like slasher film at this campsite. So people pay a lot of money to show up and get spooked and get creeped out and like hunted by like a serial killer, except it's just a bunch of kids in costumes with fake blood and stuff. So it like honestly kind of started a little bit slow, but I feel like that's kind of standard with horror books. Like you got to set the premise first, right? And then the ending of it got gory. Got gory, it got intense. So, it went from a fake scenario to now all the kids that were doing the pranks are now the ones being hunted. So that ended up being interesting, and yeah, the ending was good. Definitely definitely read the epilogue on that one. It was worth it. So I gave that one 4 stars. And so, you know, we're continuing with wins from this author, Kaylin Barron. Barron. Why do I think I'm always saying her name wrong? I don't know. But anyways, I like that author. Like I have read multiple books by her, and for the most part, her books hit home with me. So doing good there. Let's see. Next book was Fable for the End of the World. Talking about authors that I like. I do also like Ava Reed. I have read multiple books by her. They're always got like there's always just like an air of eeriness, or like just everything is horrible vibes. Like her books are just like depression as a book. like like everything in this, if you lived in these worlds, any of these worlds that I've read by her, you would be depressed as hell. I would be anyways. Like it's all like survival, or like somebody's being abused, this, that, like it's always awful. It's all, something awful is always going on in Ava Reed's books, at least from the ones that I've read. So anyways, this was no different. This is a dystopian, and it was also, you know, awful. Like we have a girl who is living in this world where everybody is like in like extreme levels of debt. And of course, because it's a dystopian and everybody just loves some fucked up shit, one of the ways you can pay off your debt is by putting up somebody. It could be yourself, it could be somebody else in your family. You could put somebody up to be hunted like an animal. And so very few people survive this. They have literally made like cyborg people. These, they call them angels. These girls that have been trained to be like assassins basically, and they set them on you, and they film the whole thing and show everybody like it's like this is reality TV for them. And people are like super into watching these. Literally watching people that you know get like done in. And so that's the whole premise of this book. It's messed up. There is a section in the back of this that gave you this girl's brother's POV, and that made the ending of this book even more messed up. So this is another book where you want to read the extra content at the end because it makes everything worse. I mean, but in a good way, because this book is made to hurt your feelings. Like, you will, if you don't feel anything reading this, and like, what? It's very upsetting stuff. So anyways, I gave this one 3.5. Like, my man. So that's that one. It was not my favorite Ava Reed book ever, but I fuck with it. Then the next book that I read was Sinner's Isle, by Angela Montoya. So this one's also a YA, but it's like a fantasy romance, like a YA fantasy romance. And this one, I remember I was just so upset because after how fucked up that book was, the one before this, I was so like, just like, oh man, like Ava Reed's books put me in a funk sometimes. Reading like really depressing shit, like I needed something. I thought this book was gonna be like, I don't know why I thought this. I thought, I thought it was gonna be like more of a regular romance book. I didn't realize it was like a fantasy romance with like fucked up shit going on. I thought it was gonna be like a regular romance that was gonna like help cleanse my brain so I could like have happier thoughts. No, this did not happen this way. So this book ended up being like a society where women have magic and the men hate that and they oppress the women, and it was just, it was more colonizer stuff, and I was just upset reading this. Like honestly, I like, was there good banter? Yes. Did I care at this point? No. So take it with a grain of salt. My rating on this, I gave it a 3, but I do believe I was not in the correct mindset at the time to fully enjoy this book to its max. Otherwise, it might have been a little bit higher rating. Because yeah, I wasn't invested in the romance at all. At this point, I was like, how can you even want to talk to a dude in this world where they're all fucking you up? But yeah, there was like a pirate. The pirate. her conversations with the pirate were kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. I was upset. So that was that. So yeah, 3 stars. After that, I read White Smoke, which is another YA horror book. So this one's by Tiffany D. Jackson, and this was our main character. She's a teenager. Her family is doing a residency program. Like her mom gets picked up for this residency program in this little area this little town that they're trying to build a town up apparently, except it turns out to be like the most massive bullshit ever. And our main character, she has like an addiction problem, and that she's like trying to kick, and she's just not having a good time. Like when her parents got divorced, some other stuff went down, and it's just like she's kind of like not having the best time mentally. So that happens, and then when they move into this house, they're like, oh, they find out from like the whole town that like nobody wants to live on that street because it's like haunted and stuff. And so you basically go through the mystery of like what's haunting this house. Everybody's got theories, but at the end you do find out what it actually was. And it was it was sad, but also in a way kind of like some of the explanation I was like, bro, what? Oh my god, like okay. But so yeah, it was like creepy until it wasn't. And then it was just kind of sad, honestly. But now that was that one. I gave it 4 stars. I did like it, so the characters all had uh like well developed personalities, I would say, which was nice to read because you don't always get that much depth with your characters in books, not all the time. But that was good. So after that, I read Immaculate Conception. I read this one pretty fast, and this is another one of those like weird horror books by Ling Ling Huang, and I really liked Natural Beauty, and I think that Natural Beauty does rank higher for me than this one does. But this one is basically takes a little time in a way because it's like people that met in art school, and art school everybody's like you're basically learning how to judge each other's work harshly. Not gonna lie, that's how art school kind of is. It's like learning to give and get criticism and all that. Like that's a big part of it. And so, yeah, there's like one girl that like can do no wrong. She's like a artistic genius and da 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 da. And so everybody's like jealous of her. And the friend that she makes, she is like honestly, they could have had like the most pure relationship, like the most pure friendship ever. But our main girl, she was so jealous. She was so jealous. And I'm like, this is the definition of a frenemy. So our main character is just a freaking frenemy. And then like basically through the sci-fi horror-y part of this, she ends up like being able to connect to her brain because they do they like develop some technology to where you can like sync to somebody's brain and to try to help them with their trauma. That's supposedly why you can like take some of their pain from them. That was the theory, but instead she kind of uses it to monetize her friend's trauma, and that's really messed up. That is really messed up. You do not do this to your friend. If they telling you their secrets, you do not monetize that. But she did because she was jealous, and she's like, oh, now I can do all of this art and call it collaboration, even though she never even asked permission and stuff. And just like our main character is just not a good friend. She's a very jealous person, and it's crazy. But then yeah, there's like that big science part. And like she's like very successful in her own right in a different kind of way, but she doesn't, she wants what she wants and it evades her. But anyway, so that's really sad. It's really sad because the girl she did all this to, like she's like, I had nothing but love for you, and it was just so sad. It's just a friendship gone wrong. That's why you have to be very careful. I mean, not that like the science part of this is real anytime soon, but maybe, who knows. But, this is just another one of those books that's like, you gotta really be careful who you choose to be your friends, especially when you're successful, because there's a lot of people that just want to take from you when that happens. Like, when you're doing well, people that show up, they just want to take what you have. So, you gotta be good at discerning who is secure and who is just an asshole. Basically, just another lovely reminder. So I gave it 3.5, which, it was an interesting read, but it was kind of slow in parts. So I was just kind of like, Like the setup part, I was like, okay, we can move on a little bit. But yeah, so 3.5. After that, I finally finished the arc of Beast of Carnival, yes, by Rogelio Rodrigo. And this one, I read that on my Kindle, and it took me a while because, like, the beginning of it is very, like, dreamy and, like, vibey and everything. And, because they go to this they go to this island where it's like one big constant party all the time, and this is kind of historical, so it's like back in the day. So they're going over there, and our main character, she was owned as a slave by the other girl who ends up following her. She didn't tell this girl to show up with her, but she did. She followed her. So her friend now, they used to own her, so that makes it real awkward. She used to own her, but she did get freed, and so she was using her freedom to go and find her brother, who went with this girl's dad a long time ago over to this island. But the thing about this island is people go to party and they don't really come back. I'm like, it's very hit or miss. So her dad's been gone for like 10 years or something. Like, it's been a long time. It's been a long ass time. 5 years, 10 years, something like that. Like, a long time. So this girl is like, I just want to find my twin. I want to see what happened to him. She wants to, like, she's hoping to find him alive, obviously. And so that's what sets everything in motion. And so she goes over there to try to find her brother. And then the other girl shows up, like, I guess. Like, I mean, honestly, her dad sucked, and I don't think she cared that much to find him in the first place, which is fair. So, basically, this book, they end up uncovering, well, our main character, because she's very analytical, and so she takes notes, she subscribes to the scientific method for all of this. Like, she's very scholarly. So, she studied a lot. She read a lot of the books and stuff at this girl's house. So she took the education more seriously. And so, she like very hardcore tries to like figure out the mystery of what's going on, and wants to like, because she wants to find her brother. Except like she keeps like everything's so hazy at that place that they like forget what the hell they came for. They're losing track of time. Like, everything's a blur. Everything turns into like mush in their brain. And so, so she's like having to like write stuff on her arms and all this stuff. It's crazy. So the beginning is very much like Caraval, where it's like there's magic, there's party, but then it's also kind of like the background's kind of messed up, and you're like, what the fuck's actually happening behind the curtains, basically. And so, but then the second half of the book, she basically gets behind the curtain and then like doesn't want to believe what she finds, basically. And I'm like, that's the part that made it a little hard for me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it was already obvious before that your regular science wasn't going to explain this situation. I mean, it is a fantasy book, right? Like, these things are going to be beyond the regular science, especially science of that time. And I'm just like, boo-boo, science doesn't have all the answers yet. You have to accept that part. But she did not want to accept that part. And that's the part that made me kind of like, be like, girl, the fuck you mean? Like, you're being presented with this in front of your very fucking eyes, and you don't want to accept the answer. So that part kind of got on my nerves. But anyways, yeah, the second half of the book is like basically all the peeks behind the curtain. She finally gets behind the curtain and finds out like all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, but like it makes the book very disjointed in a way, because like the vibe of the beginning is very different from the vibe of the second half. So. Just keep that in mind, I guess, if you're gonna read it. I think it'll be less jarring if you know that going in. Then you might be able to, like, it might smooth out a little bit more for you if you know that. So anyways, I gave it 3.5. Like, it was not a bad book by any means. It's just, I don't know. I was just rolling my eyes at this character a little bit. Because I'm like, girl, I understand, but also, I don't. For you. So anyway, that's that. After that, I binged through Our Infinite Fates, which this is a book I didn't even really think I was gonna like, to be honest. But like, I had seen so many people talking about it. I was like, well, I want to know. I just want to try it out, because I'm a D. Like, if I don't like it, I'll just DNF. No, I ended up like wanting to binge through this book, and I had to make myself go to sleep and finish it the next day. So, Our Infinite Fates, like, this is a book where this book's so sad. This book had me crying because this girl, well, in this lifetime, she is a girl, but this person, well, they, I guess, and the other soul, basically, that they constantly reincarnate with, they live the same life over and over and over, and they can't ever live past 18. Otherwise, something bad happens, but she can't remember what it is. She don't know. She can't remember, and so, like, she spends all this time trying to, like, why do we have to keep, like, unaliving each other every lifetime? Why can't we live to 18? What happens if we turn 18? And, the counterpart does not want to explain because they're just like, well, the answer will hurt you. And I did not expect that. Like, a lot of people say this book is like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, so I guess if you like that one, maybe try this one. I have not read that, so I do not know how similar it is. Like, I don't know, but I really liked it. I gave it 5 stars, which I do not give those out very frequently. I'm kind of stingy with the 5 stars, but I gave this one 5 stars because, like, this book had me hooked, and I would just, like, binged it, basically. And so, yeah, it was sad. And it made me cry, which I also don't cry that much at books, so. This book did a lot of things. A lot of things. So, yeah, I gave that 5 stars. Which, rare. That's rare, but I gave it 5. So, kind of very much out of left field for that one. And then, the last book that I finished was House of Hunger, so another horror book. It was an adult horror book. And, like, the whole time I was reading it, I was like, isn't this supposed to be a vampire book? Like, I don't know. I was just like, it just sounds like crazy people. I mean, but they did a good job making it seem that way. But at the end of the day, like, it's supposed to be like our main character, she's living in poverty and she's tired of being poor, relatable, and so she decides to take up this job that she finds in the newspaper, which is the blood maid job, which everybody around her is like, oh no, blah blah blah. And honestly, that ended up being the right mentality. I mean, it is a horror book, so obviously some fucked up shit was gonna happen, right? So she gets this job as a blood maid, goes up to the north, and basically, they drink the blood, like a vampire. Sometimes straight from them. Sometimes, I mean, they just like put it on the food and stuff. I don't know. It's a weird system as far as any vampire books that I've read. So, but yeah, so there's like multiple blood maids and they just gotta bleed. But then they're also like companions. It's like weird. It's a really weird setup. So like, but you're kind of treated like cattle. It's really not great because you are there for them to eat your blood. It's super weird. Anyways, like, I don't know. The book just ended up being kind of, like, not bad, but like, I was kind of like, wait, can we move on? In parts. And I was just like, I feel like we got so many descriptions of the house, and I'm like, yeah, it's a mansion, we get it. Like, I kind of didn't need that part as much, but it was a short book. It was a fast read, and I just kept waiting, like, okay, so when are we gonna get to like the horror part? Because it just felt so like, oh yeah, like this is just normal, ugly, rich people bullshit to me. That's kind of how it read at the beginning. And so, yeah, it finally kicked in. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I was just kind of underwhelmed at the beginning. It took a while. So, I gave this one 3.5. It did end up getting interesting. Like, again, I mean, I think this is just kind of the thing with like a lot of horror books. It's like they tend to start kind of slow. And then they ramp up, and then the end is just like, poof. But, honestly, I'm just like, we could still do without maybe a little bit of the dragging out in the beginning. So, I don't know. The pacing just felt a little off. But yeah, that was a 3.5. And so that was the last one. That was the last book that I read in the month of August. And so, there you go. 9 books. And so, we will catch y'all on the flippity. Oh my god, I haven't heard anybody say that in ages. Anyway, I will catch y'all next time. Please like and subscribe.